with Nelson Jordan. I'm Chris Nelson. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube page, follow us on all of our social media pages, and listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. Nelson, the San Francisco 49ers went to Los Angeles and beat the Rams 26-23 in overtime. No Brock Purdy at quarterback. Mac Jones got the start. No George Kittle at tight end. Missing all three of their trio of starting wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk out.
Wow.
Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings all out. Their starting left guard is out. No Nick Bosa on defense. They lost their other defensive end during the game. He did not return. And they lost one of their defensive tackles during the game, and he did not return. Yet they find a way to get that win. What were your takeaways on how they handled it and got it done?
I am really getting impressed with the 49ers, their grit, and the coaching of their defensive coordinator, Saleh, and what he's turned out that defense to be. That's what stood out, in my humble opinion. To go in there for at least the first half and essentially make the Rams only score 7 points before the half. And then, obviously, McVay, we know he is always going to make his adjustments. You know, they got everybody involved, Williams, Nakua, Adams. You know, it was a great chess match between both teams. Another star performance that I want to shout out to is, you know, Mac Jones. I mean, he got battered. He got hit so many times in this game. There was a scene where he stood up and he was walking away and he threw up, and we thought he was going to exit the game too, but no. His will, his grit, this is literally what Saleh brought to the table, and this is a great thing for that culture for the 49ers. Otherwise, if this was the 49ers of last year, they would have lost that game. But unbelievable win by the 49ers. They're now sitting at 4-1 in the NFC West. And, you know, with Sean McVay and the Rams, listen, you can't fumble the ball, Kyron Williams. And Stafford, you got to make a better decision on third and fourth down. You know, I don't understand why they're not throwing to Devontae, you know, with some of those plays too. But San Francisco just had a way better game. They really, really did, even with so many players out, as you stated. I mean, it was just amazing to watch. We saw Bourne just go nuts in this game. Career game. But that's all credit to Shanahan too. But enough of that. You go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think there's some room to elaborate on some of that. Look, they came out on the opening drive, their first two drives, and scored touchdowns on both. We need to give so much credit to Kyle Shanahan. I mean, what a job he did with all of those players out to be able to have that type of success. And they did the smart thing, just give the ball to Christian McCaffrey, which, to be fair, the Rams loaded up the box and stopped him as a runner. But as a receiver, I mean, looking like his dad and his brother, you're wearing his brother's team over there. I mean, that was so impressive. And he always is, to be fair. But I think the Rams as much lost the game as the 49ers won it, because on their first drive, Tutu Atwell is wide open down the sideline for a huge gain, and Matt Stafford overthrows him. Next play, he gets sacked, and the drive is over. Then they have a roughing the passer call on the second play of the 49ers' second drive, the ensuing drive, that gives them free 15 yards. They were backed up before that. Obviously, maybe they marched down the field for the touchdown anyway with the way they were going, but that's terrible. They come back out on the next drive. They're marching. The Rams, that is. They're marching down the field in their second drive. And Blake Corum has the toss, hit him right in the hands. He just drops it and gives it away to the 49ers. I mean, they looked like they were going to score a touchdown on that drive. And then the 49ers decided to get in the sloppiness and come out. And you mentioned it. Kendrick Bourne had an unbelievable game. Mac Jones played his first few years with the Patriots in New England as their quarterback. Kendrick Bourne was there for those 3 years as wide receiver, in between stints now with the 49ers, where he started his career and now he's back. But he dropped a pass on that drive that ended the drive on third down. It would have been a first down, and so he should have had an even bigger game. And so we had that happen. And then you mentioned at the end of the game, look, that was an outstanding play by him. We talked about the injuries the 49ers had on defense. So they've got a rookie defensive tackle, second-round draft pick out of Texas in there. What a play, the peanut punch to knock that ball out on the goal line. I mean, that was incredible. Big time. I mean, what a moment. I'm sure you watched the game. I know it was like, okay, touchdown Kyron Williams. The Rams going to find a way to win this game. The 49ers are so banged up. What an effort by the 49ers. And then, and you know what? Let's give some credit to Kirk Herbstreit in the broadcast. He predicted. He's like, you know what? They're going to get a 3-and-out, use the 3 timeouts, get the ball back from Matt Stafford in midfield, and they're going to kick a field goal. We're going to overtime. It's exactly what happened. And then the fourth down stop in overtime. I mean, how good was that? I mean, credit to the Rams defense. A couple times they bent but didn't break. The 49ers had a drive. They were all the way down the 2-yard line, first and goal, in 3 straight plays. They got nothing. Mac Jones got rocked, as you said, on that drive. And so that kept the score at 20-7 in the second half. They only got a field goal. And then the Rams again in overtime held them to the field goal, but the Rams go for it on 4th and 1. Look, it was the right decision. It was the right play call. Credit to the 49ers. You said it. Credit to the 49ers for stopping it. In hindsight, it's easy to say it was the wrong play call, but Kyren Williams is one of the best running backs in the league. It's 4th and 1.
Enough.
You hand it off to your guy against the defensive line. It's missing both defensive ends and a starting defensive tackle. I don't care how good of a defensive coordinator Robert Saleh is. You should be able to get that, but credit to the 49ers for making the play. I fully agree with you, man. We can say a lot of negative things about Robert Saleh, and we should, in terms of how he manages things off the field, his head coaching stint. But as a defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, he does an outstanding job. His last year there, 5 years ago, Nick Bosa tore his ACL and missed the final 14 games, and he still got the job done. It got him a head coaching job. He's doing it again, so we'll see if it continues. But it's very impressive. And we said that going into the season. We knew he would come back when he got fired by the Jets for the season. The 49ers were setting that up, and we expected this from him. So it's not a surprise at all. We just want to see with all the players they didn't have, and now Nick Bosa adds to that mix, how he'd be able to manage it. But are we surprised that he's managing it well? I do have to mention, when I'm getting caught up in the sloppiness, the Rams also had, if we're going to call Kyren Williams for the getting stopped on 4th down, the fumble before that, they had back-to-back drops on, I believe it was their final drive of the first half, and they settled for a missed field goal way wide right. And the second of those drops, Kyren Williams was wide open in the flat.
I know.
If he catches that, he's running down the sideline for a huge play. Probably not a touchdown, but a huge play. Yeah. And he dropped the ball, and that, those mistakes cost the Rams the game. They were full of them in the first half, so many mistakes. And look, we saw more sloppy play in the second half. We saw more personal fouls and procedural penalties. It was a sloppy game. It was hard to watch, but so much credit to the 49ers for going on the road without all of those guys and beating the reigning division champions. So, did you have anything else?
No. McVay, I think I'm really going to be picky about this, but McVay, if you are as good as an offensive coordinator, don't run something that the 49ers probably have seen, especially on 4th down, man. You guys had all the momentum in the world. Whenever you're running a tight formation like that, of course, the linebackers, the defensive front, everyone's going to know you're running it. Do something that's different, man, but that's beside the point.
No, I get it, and I just, you're looking at that, what are your other options? Maybe a quarterback sneak, but realistically with Matt Stafford at his age and what Matt Stafford is as a quarterback and an athlete, not to take away from it, but I don't think that's the play call you're doing there. Maybe you can do something like the Steelers do where you put in a different player, like a tight end. We see a number of teams do that. Push, something along those lines. You could do something like that. I get it, but at the same time, again, Kyren Williams, one of the best running backs in the league, banged up defensive front. You need a yard. You should be able to get it. So I will say, Kyle Shanahan outcoached Sean McVay. Certainly in the first half, but I would say for the game as a whole, Kyle Shanahan outcoached Sean McVay, and that's saying something. And so credit to Kyle Shanahan, credit to Robert Saleh. Mac Jones, credit to him. I agree with you. Warrior-like performance. Chris, he did have the incompletions at the end, and then he got sacked. I know that's not all on him, but it does have to be noted, and I don't want to take away from his performance, but he wasn't exactly clutch. He's a little bit fortunate they won because he did not deliver at the end there, and that's what we're here for, is to call out these things, so it has to be mentioned. I'm sorry, you have one more thing.
Yeah, I did. Sorry, I guess my internet was going in and out just a split second. But my last comment on this was, we gotta give a lot of praise to Christian McCaffrey for the amount of touches that he's getting, the amount of abuse that he's getting, and the fact that he's proven a lot of people wrong so far through already what is it now, 5 games, and to be as healthy as he is and as very good as he is. Unbelievable, man. We did not see that coming from CMC. I don't think we did. But yeah, unbelievable.
With all those guys out, that he's the guy the defenses are focused on, and he's still delivering, not as a rusher, but as a receiver. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. What a special talent to be that good of a receiver from the position. Obviously, his dad was an all-pro receiver, but still. But hey, guys, we'll see you back next time. Plenty more NFL to talk about, plenty more football to talk about. It's October. We're in full swing, so we will be back with that. But for right now, for Nelson Jordan, I'm Chris Nelson. This has been the First and Final Word.